What's going on, guys? So in today's video, I have for you the best settings here in Modern Warfare 2 Season 4. Now, not much has changed, but I do want to address a handful of things that I was getting comments on in my previous settings video. Before we get into that, make sure you guys are subscribed with all those notifications on. Anytime I update my settings, I will be uploading that here on the channel. And there's also a lot of other content that I will be posting. I don't want you guys to miss out on it. Not to mention, we're also on the road of 400,000 subscribers. And then do me a solid, if this settings video does help you out in any sort of way, click that thumbs up button. It helps push the video out, gives us more exposure, and other people looking for settings can find this one here. With all that being said, how can you guys trust my settings out of everyone else out there? Well, stats don't mean much, at least in my opinion, but I do want to showcase mine. I don't do it often. I get asked about them. We basically have like 9 days played. We average almost 50 kills a game. I have a 5.50 KD, over 80,000 kills, and then you guys can see my personal best right on the bottom left-hand corner there. And as you can see on my operator on the left-hand side, we did reach iridescent rank in ranked play a few seasons back. I haven't played much of it since, but your boy got all the bases locked down, pubs and ranked play. I'm gonna be starting with the controller settings, but quickly let me show you guys my controller since I do it all the time. I have a Scuff gaming controller. You do not need this, but it's just what I'm using. I got 2 control freaks on the front right there. The taller one right here is the one I use to aim, and then this left one right here is just my running around. Yes, my sticks are mad dusty, but I feel this weird thing in me where if I clean this dust out, I get stick drift. It happens almost every single time without fail. So it's lucky dust. All right, let's keep it like that. On the back of the controller here, I have these paddles. Now this paddle right here allows me to jump, and then this paddle right here allows me to dolphin dive, crouch, whatever it may be. So when I'm holding my controller, normally like this, I could use these paddles to do what I want to do without taking my thumb off my aiming analog stick to do it right here. So I can have that perfect aim whenever I'm jumping, dolphin diving, and I can just kind of look around. It's very, very helpful. I do have like these nice little triggers that are like, you know, they don't have to go all the way down. They're very, very quick and easy to use. And then for those of you wondering where this is plugged into, it's my Cronus for some of you who believe that. And then for those of you who have a brain, it's plugged into my PC since I play on PC. And now that all of that's out of the way, let's get into the settings. So my button and stick layout are completely default. I leave them alone. I showed you my controller. I have the paddles in the back. I'm situated. For the bumper ping, I have this off. I don't use it. I don't like to ping things with my bumper. For my controller vibration, you have to turn this off. It is a necessity. A lot of you have it on because it's just how the game works at default. Let me tell you, it's messing up your aim and you don't even know it. Take it off for about a week and you're gonna thank me later. I say this all the time and I've had so many comments where people are like, yo, thanks for telling me to turn off that vibration. My accuracy has skyrocketed. So make sure you do that. For my sensitivity, not much has changed here. I still play on a 6.5. So the reason why it's opposite, a little different here, horizontally, I'm always looking left and right. I want it to be quick so I can figure out where the next enemy is gonna be. Vertically though, I don't need it as fast. So I took it down a notch. Vertically it's up and down, right? So this isn't a jetpack Call of Duty, very sadly enough. But I'm not always looking up and down, so my sense doesn't need to be that high for that. And I just kind of want to make it very controllable for me personally. I don't need it all the same. I don't need it all to be quick. And I just find this to work perfectly. Now, is this the best sensitivity in the world? No. Is this a good starting point? For sure. But I definitely recommend adjusting it accordingly. Everyone's different, and that's completely okay. This is just what works personally the best for me. Moving on to the ADS sensitivity multiplier, not a lot of people mess with this, and that is one of the biggest mistakes you're making with your settings. Now, people don't know what this is, and that's probably why they don't mess with it. It's aim down sights sensitivity. So when you're aiming down sights, you now have a different sensitivity. By default, this is usually a 1, and I knock mine down to a 0.90. And what that does is make my aim a lot stickier, and it makes aim assist so much stronger than it already is. And you gotta mess with this for sure. If you're not familiar with it, or you know you're scared of messing with it, do a 0.95 to kind of test out, and then work your way down to a 0.90. I'm telling you, you're gonna be landing a lot more of your shots, and your weapons are gonna feel like they're killing so much quicker due to you landing a lot more of your shots. For the sensitivity multiplier, there's other ones as well here, which I honestly don't even mess with. I just kind of mess with the initial one and then I'm good. vertical aim access. Again, leave this default, don't mess with that at all, it's pretty irrelevant. Next, we have some gameplay options for the controller settings. I do not mess with any of these, but my automatic sprint I do mess with, and this is going to drastically help improve your movement. Mine is on automatic tactical sprint. I'm gonna take you guys to the firing range so I could show you how this works. So automatic tactical sprint here. Again, my orange stick that I showed you earlier, this is my running stick, right? I'm just gonna push up on it. I'm not gonna press it, just push up, right? And look, I am full on sprinting, weapon in the end, that is the fastest I can run. Now, if you don't have this option on, you're gonna actually have to press and then move up your controller to start running like this. But with the setting I have on, very simple. All I gotta do, boom, I'm running at maximum speed. So it just makes things a lot quicker and a lot more efficient. Back in our settings, I do not mess with equipment behavior or the weapon mount activation, but interact/reload behavior is something you may want to mess with depending on what you're playing. If you enjoy playing DMZ or Warzone, prioritize interact's probably the best option, because then you could just spam square and pick up items very quickly. But if you're playing multiplayer like I am, you don't really need that option. Tap to reload is the best option, so you can just simply tap to reload your weapon rather than having to hold it down or something. Again, makes things a lot more efficient and quick. Again, DMZ and Warzone, make sure you have apply all plates, so you don't have to hold down triangle to apply the plates. You just hold it down once, and then it's good. It's gonna automatically apply all the plates that you are missing. Moving on to our advanced controller settings. If you actually want aim assist on, make sure it's actually on. Some people turn this off by accident. They don't know what it does. I don't know what it is. Make sure this is actually on. My aim assist type is default. Previously, a few seasons back, I did play on Black Ops, and it used to actually be the strongest aim assist type. Due to the recent nerf, it's no longer the best. Default is gonna be your best option for the strongest aim assist. Third person ADS, left this alone, don't really mess with it. Aim response curve type, dynamic is by far the best. It's what everyone uses, so make sure you have this on. Now we have another aim down sights sensitivity multiplier, but this time it's for focus. And what that means is it's for any scopes where it allows you to focus. So all sniper rifles pretty much. And a lot of people like to keep this at a 1 so they can kind of drag their scope around. That's completely understandable. I decided to match mine at a 0.90. It's kind of odd for me to do that. So if you want to keep it at a 1, you're more than welcome to. Again, something you might want to experiment with, especially with the scopes. Custom sensitivity per zoom. So you can actually change it per the zoom. This makes it even more complicated. Again, I just keep it at a 0.90. I don't really use scopes too often. So again, you can mess with this if you want. I personally just don't. Moving on to my dead zones, bro. I got so many comments about my dead zones. Now, for the left stick minimum, 0.08 is perfect for literally anybody. But I got a lot of controversy on the right stick minimum because it's so high. It's a 0.20. Now, it works for me. It really works for me. You could try it out. A lot of people said they didn't like it. Again, if you don't like it, you can do a 0.08 just like you did for the left. That's completely okay. I want to go any lower though than a 0.08. Any lower is gonna, it's messy. Let me just put it like that. A 0.20 is very high. It works so well for me. A lot of people are like, bro, what the hell are you doing? I like it. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. The left and right, the max, make sure it's a 1, no matter what your controller, no matter how you play, it doesn't matter. Make sure it's a 1. And left and right trigger, this has to be 0. If it's any higher than 0, you're gonna have a very slight delay in your triggers. So whether that's you throwing your nades or your stuns or you use it to aim and shoot like I do, you wanna have this at 0, all right? So that's very, very crucial. Controller orientation, left this alone. The gyro aiming, left this all alone. This is completely irrelevant. Just make sure this is actually off or this is gonna completely ruin your controller settings. So again, there's a lot of it there. Make sure all of that is off, and there's quite a bit of it. Moving on to our movement behaviors. So I don't really mess with any of this here. Automatic airborne mantle, mine's on partial. I think this makes things a little bit quicker for me when I mantle. I'm not 100% sure. This could be default, but make sure it's on partial. Just triple check. And then, oh, right here, this is important. Invert, slide, and dive behavior. So as you guys can see right next to my face cam here, the standard is tap to slide, and then you hold to dive. Well, I don't really slide. I find myself dolphin diving a lot more. So I inverted it, so I have to hold to slide, and then I could tap to dolphin dive. So it makes things a lot more easier and convenient for me to use the dolphin dive. Again, I use that more than the slide. So it makes sense. So if you want to go ahead and do the same thing that I did here, go right ahead and make sure that the invert slide behavior is inverted. If you find yourself sliding more than diving, you can go back and just do standard. And then I think the rest of my settings here are pretty much just default. Again, those of you who are playing Warzone, make sure parachute auto deploy is off so you can get closer to the ground before pulling the parachute. Sprinting DoorDash. And then I believe that might be it. Yeah. Again, here, I'll just quickly go through the rest of it. I'm pretty sure all this is default. Now let's move on to the graphic settings. I'm not gonna spend too much time on my graphic settings. One, I know a lot of you guys are on console, and then two, I actually didn't do my PC settings. So for those of you who are on PC and would like to get your PC optimized and have the absolute best settings for your PC specifically, you gotta check out FPS Hub. I actually shouted them out in my recent settings video for absolutely free, and they reached out to me wanting to partner me. So you guys can now use code FRIZZ, F-R-I-Z-Z, 2 Z's in there, to save yourself a little bit of cash, get your PC optimized, and just tuned to perfection. So again, these settings here are for my PC specifically. I highly recommend going to them, man. They always make my experience on the game so much better after I'm done working with them. So I'm gonna quickly go over just everything I have here. Again, I didn't really mess with anything. My brightness here is at 50. I think this is the only thing I changed here in the graphic settings. And then again, I had someone get on my PC and just make sure all this is correct. So again, you guys wanna check them out for your settings, go right ahead. Same with our quality settings right here as well. All of this was done by them. I had one of their guys hop on my PC and just make sure everything here is good. So there you have it, man. These are all my settings here. Just a great combination between frames and quality. Always making my experience amazing. Something you guys could turn off yourselves, whether you're on PC or not, world and weapon motion blur. So you guys can see the images right here. Turn this off, dog. Your game just looks absolutely abysmal if you have this on. The second you turn off weapon and world motion blur, your game is gonna look so much more smooth and crystal clear. Same goes with the film grain. Turn this all the way off, man. The quality on your guys' games are gonna look infinitely better. Again, these settings are on your consoles as well, but everything else above it, I'm not too sure, but you see it there if you need them. Moving on to our view graphic settings. So my field of view is a 115. You guys are all familiar with field of view by now. It's just how much you guys could see. You could see the example in the image right there. I feel the most comfortable on the 115. I know a lot of people like to max it out, and you're more than welcome to. This is more of a personal preference thing. Find what works best for you. If you're on an 80, you never messed with the setting before. What I did when I first was introduced to field of view is I bumped it from an 80 to 100, and that was just perfect for quite a while. And then I slowly built myself up from that 100, and here I am at a 115, and it feels the best. ADS field of view, make sure it's unaffected. It's incredibly crucial because it makes your weapon visually look like it has 0 recoil. It's unbelievable. For weapon field of view, make sure yours is wide, and what this does is it makes your weapon look smaller. So it kind of gives you more access to looking around the map rather than your big ass gun in front of your face. And I find it easier just to see and locate enemies a little bit quickly. Third person FOV, don't mess with this at all. Same with the vehicle one. First and third person camera movement. So, man, oh man, this goes hand in hand with the weapon and world motion blur. Make sure this is on least 50%. If it's at default, things are shaking, bro. You look like you're playing with the headache pretty much. When you knock it down to 50%, there's less camera movement. Your thing doesn't look all shaky. And honestly might help improve your accuracy because your camera isn't all over the place. I honestly feel like this should be least all the time. I don't know why default is even an option. Crucial change you got to make. And then that's pretty much, it's going to wrap up the graphic settings. There we go. Let's move on to the audio settings now. Now the FPS Hub, guys, I just mentioned the graphic settings. They actually do audio as well. So you could hear footsteps incredibly clear. I mean, you could literally hear teammates farting across the entire map. It's unbelievable. It's something I still haven't gone to them for, which I'm definitely going to need to, but here's what I'm rocking with right now for my audio settings. So I have home theater on. It honestly just works best for me and my headset. I highly recommend experimenting with this and just kind of changing them and see what works best for you. My master volume is at 100. I have the gameplay music at 0. The voice chat's too loud in this game. Knock this down to a 10. Cinematic music volume is basically the music you hear at the main menu. I have it at an 8. It's nice to hear it, you know, here and there. War tracks, I should honestly turn this off. I hate hearing the musics in the vehicles in DMZ and Warzone. And then, as you can see, the two ones that are basically just the loudest here, dialogue and effects. Effects is going to be like footsteps, weapons, reloading, and then the dialogue is going to be when they announce there's a UAV in the sky or a counter, things like that. That's crucial information to your gameplay. So that's why there's the loudest things there. Moving on, I have default system device for the headset. For voice chat, I have it on. There's nothing too important here until we get down. Oh, I have proc chat off. I love hearing people rage. You got to keep that on. Moving on, we have, oh, here it is, mono audio. So if you have this on, the left and right channels are going to be merged together. If you have this off, you're able to distinguish if an enemy's on the left side or on the right side. So this is crucial. Again, you want to have this off. If you have it on, the footsteps are not going to be very directional, and having this off is going to allow you to figure out where exactly they're at. Reduce, I'm not going to bother saying this word, the tinnitus sound. If you have this on, then the sound from the concussion isn't going to be so overpowering. It's going to be a lot more reduced, and you're going to be able to hear what's going on or where the enemy's coming from whenever you get concussed or flashbanged. Again, that flashbang or concussion audio isn't going to be so strong, so make sure you have this on. And then the rest of the audio settings are pretty straightforward. I have the Juggernaut music off, don't even use the kill streak. My hit marker sound is MW. You can mess with that if you want. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on to the interface settings. Now, there's not a whole lot I changed in the interface settings, but one thing I love to mess with is the color customization. So I have it on custom. I made myself yellow. My team is green. My party is blue. The enemies are red. And then neutral is white. So it's just so much easier to distinguish what is what. Red, enemy, green, teammate, blue, party. Super easy. I highly recommend messing with this, especially if your colors are kind of like all similar looking. Mess with it, man. I think it honestly makes a pretty big difference. Subtitles, I have all this off. It's just nonsense on my screen that doesn't need to be there. Moving on. Oh my God, vertical and horizontal heads up display. So what this does is your compass, your ammo, field upgrade, kill streaks, your mini map, all of that is a lot more condensed in. Right now, if yours is at 100, it's all pushed out. You bring it all in, you don't really need to move your eyes too much to look at the mini map or your ammo, your field upgrade. It's kind of right there in the center of your screen, and it just makes it a lot easier on yourself to get back to looking at the center of your screen to figure out where the next enemy is. You gotta change this, man. Please do it for yourselves. You're gonna thank me later. Mini map, very self-explanatory here, man. Two options, round or square. Take a look at the images here. You could see a lot more coverage of the map with the square. That's what you're gonna choose. So when you call a UAV in, you get a lot more coverage from where you're at, and you can figure out where the enemies are. Minimap rotation is on. Horizontal compass, I turned mine off. I don't use it whatsoever. If it helps you out, keep it on. It's just nonsense on my screen personally because I don't use it. And then players' names are abbreviated. You can also just do an icon only, which is nice. Other than that, I'm trying to look for, oh, telemetry. You guys could, do this if you want to see your frames, latency, packet loss, and so much more. Gameplay tips. Oh, I hate when they do that. Turn that off. Connection meters off. And then, oh, here it is. This is the final thing I changed here in my settings. Inverted flash. This was one of the most recent settings they recently added into the game. What this does, as you can see in the images, if you have this off, when you get flashbanged, it's white. It's gonna blind you. You're probably gonna hard blink in real life. If you have this on, it's inverted, so it's black instead of white, and it makes it a lot easier on your eyes. And for me personally, I feel like the effects don't last as long, so make sure you change this. It makes things a lot easier on yourselves. And then that's pretty much it. Not much has changed. I get asked about them all the time though. If you made this fun video, comment down below. Best settings. The only people who comment that down below are those of you who made it to the end. I'll be liking and hearting your guys' comments, and I'll see you in the next upload. Only if you guys are subscribed with all those notifications on, man. All right, you guys all stay safe. Have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.